House Speaker Michael Madigan, perhaps the most powerful politician in Illinois, has been serving his Southwest Side district for 45 years. He's normally a shoo-in for re-election, but on Tuesday, Madigan faces three primary challengers, and one of them may have a long shot, although it's a very, very long shot, at unseating him.
I'm Jason Gonzalez. I'm running for state representative.
Jason Gonzalez works his way through a lunchtime crowd at a popular restaurant on the Southwest Side.
Look, I'm about raising wages. You know, my opponent, he blocked the minimum wage increase.
Gonzalez has degrees from Duke University, Harvard, and MIT. Despite that prestigious academic pedigree, he stresses his blue-collar roots. His dad was a union electrician.
You know, I know what's going on. I know the kind of problems that our families are facing, and, you know, I'm prepared to go to Springfield to fight for us.
The Gonzalez campaign works out of a modest storefront office on South Pulaski. The Democratic challenger and his small campaign staff are constantly working the phones.
I'm hoping I can count on your support.
You know, Speaker Madigan has been in office for 45 years now, and our state is a mess. You know, we're in deep trouble.
Gonzalez has his work cut out for him if he intends to defeat Madigan. The Speaker enjoys wide support among his constituents in the 22nd District. Madigan campaign signs blanket residential neighborhoods. But Gonzalez points out that the demographics in the district have changed. Roughly 70% of the population is now Latino. His campaign slogan, "It's time for a change."
I would be shocked beyond belief if he comes close, let alone wins that district.
Roosevelt University professor Paul Green has written extensively about Chicago politics. He says there are several reasons for Madigan's long-term success.
He does his homework. He is very, very detail-oriented and has put together an organization based on patronage, based on longevity, based on relationships, and he delivers the vote.
For more than 4 decades, Madigan, the longest-serving House Speaker in Illinois history, has represented the 22nd District, which surrounds Midway Airport. From this small, mostly working-class neighborhood on the southwest side of Chicago, Madigan, who also heads the Illinois Democratic Party, controls nearly the entire state. Green says Madigan is perhaps the most powerful politician in Illinois history.
He is the only person still in government who was at the Constitutional Convention of 1970. And so not only does he know the Constitution, he helped write it.
Madigan did not respond to In the Loop's request for an interview, but during a rare appearance on Univision TV, the Speaker claimed his opponent, Gonzalez, is being bankrolled by Governor Rauner.
Well, I have a primary in a few weeks, and I have Hispanic opponents in the primary election, one of whom is supported, in my judgment, by Governor Rauner.
No, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's coming straight from Speaker Madigan's mouth. You know, I've never met Governor Rauner. I haven't been put up by him.
That's kind of a fascinating race. And Steve, is the Speaker in any political jeopardy?
It's hard to see that he would be somebody who could lose a race like this, given everything that Paul Green described in that setup piece. Certainly the organization is very, very well-grounded, very, very well-funded, and Madigan is as tough a political opponent as any. However, the very fact that Michael Madigan is going on Univision and talking about this race, the fact they're clearly taking it very seriously, it suggests that Gonzalez is the kind of candidate who could make noise. So I don't think it's likely, but it's certainly possible.
And of course, the reason that Madigan went on Univision is because he's trying to reach a Hispanic audience, and that district on the southwest side, Laura, has really changed. When he started, it was sort of ethnic Eastern European, and now it's majority Latino. Is that making a big difference on the politics there?
I think that it does. I think that it's critically important. I mean, clearly, communities of color have been ignored for far too long, and I think it's rather late in the game to get started for this elective cycle, and hopefully we'll continue past that. But I just want to speak to the fact that this is a particularly interesting race for me. We heard the Constitution referenced in that package. If we look at life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, I would argue that that has just been torn down. Life, so many young people of color losing their life at the hands of each other or at the hands of police, right? Liberty, right? the freedom to excel, to prosper? Where are the jobs? These college students at Chicago State University whose very future is threatened, and therefore the pursuit of happiness, what path do we take to get there? So I'm very interested in this particular race.
Now this race, as we heard in the opening piece, is also being set up as kind of a proxy, right, between Madigan and Rauner. What about that? You heard the charge from Mike Madigan that, in fact, he thinks his opponent is being set up by Governor Rauner.
Well, I think that it's definitely a possibility, not necessarily that Rauner is bankrolling that candidate, although I've heard that as well. But I think it's a close reminder to Madigan that, you know, every representative, even the speaker, has to get elected. And I think that's an important message to remind all politicians, specifically ones that have been in leadership for a long time. Do I think the speaker has a shot at losing? No, I think he's got the organization and the clout to pull in the victory, but it certainly will stick as a bug in his crawl for the next 2 years as he serves in his tenure against policies that the governor will have. So I don't see this being any sort of healing in the relationship between the governor and the speaker.